Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. We back. In the words of Anderson Silva, I back. Okay. KillerCon live horror panel is back. We had a little hiatus, and now we are here to bring you great horror conversation from an amazing panel of women who know they shit when it comes to horror. So we're gonna get into it. Okay. Thank you so much to everyone who is in the live right now with us. And we are going to be talking all things teen slashers, because the number one thing that I always say on my channel is I hate teenagers. So we're going to get into why I have that stance. But first, let me bring out my panel. You already know, if it's not some nudity, if it's not the 70s, she don't want nothing to do with it. Y'all, please give a warm welcome to the one over in the struggle, Miss Tyra of Struggle Reviews TV. You ready to get into teen slashers?
Absolutely. You know that teens are like the cornerstone of horror. Like, you can't get rid of that. That is where we get the most nudity, the most gore, the most everything. Because if they ain't gonna do nothing, we're gonna kill off some teenagers one by one. We need those. We don't have any, but we need them.
I really want teenagers to not be in horror for like the next 30 years. Like for like the next 30. Please. But you know what? They are if we don't do nothing else, we're gonna kill the young. Like, absolutely.
Save that version for last. These are like the premier like things of horror. So I appreciate them absolutely.
And last and definitely not least, we have a new face to the channel. The only person on planet Earth who does not rank Scream 3 at the bottom, just like me. Y'all, please show some love for Miss Celise of Sweet and Spooky. Are you ready to get into slashers?
Yes, I am. I'm so excited. I also love that you knew that.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. She did her research. Okay.
I have to scour the internet for people that don't hate that movie.
Because it's not the worst one.
It's not. And you put, at least your last ranking, you put Scream 4 at the bottom. And I love you for that. I absolutely love that. Because Death to Scream 4, even though you don't hate it like I hate it, it was at the bottom, so I'll take what I can get. But we are going to get into teen slashers. So first of all, for any normies in the building, let me go ahead and tell you what a slasher is. Of course, we have tons of subgenres in horror, and the slasher is typically a very simple formula. You have a mass killer with some type of weapon, knife, machete, gloves with knives for fingers, stalking and killing off a group of either high school age teens or college age teens. But that is basically just the simple way to describe a slasher. And sometimes we can get into like little nuanced, unique ways of doing a slasher, like a twist on a traditional slasher. For example, movies like Final Destination, you have a group of young people being killed off, but it's not necessarily a mass killer. Or even The Faculty, which I absolutely consider a slasher, but it's not the traditional slasher. And movies like Disturbing Behavior, more recently Talk to Me, which leans into obviously possession, but it basically is kind of a play on a slasher because you still have a group of young people being stalked and killed. Now, I'm super excited for today's topic, the decline of teen slashers. Specifically, a slasher doesn't necessarily have to be teens. Once in a blue, they let us old folks into the movies, and they'll have a slasher with an older group like me. But I wanted to specifically reference teen slashers, the slashers that center teens, because that is absolutely on a decline in my eyes. Tyra, do you feel like the teen slasher subgenre is on the decline? Because I feel like it done declined since like 2010.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, the teens are time traveling to save their moms right now, and that's all that they're allowed to do in horror, and I'm absolutely sick of it. The decline of teen slashers is the decline of iconic slashers. Like, we don't have slashers anymore. It's not just the teens there, it's the whatever that's there to kill them. I am a purist of the slasher. I don't want no entity floating around. I don't want no magical smoke coming around, no possession. I don't want the things you can see. I don't want no tarot cards. No, I want an entity, a person, preferably a man. Yeah, I'm biased, whatever. Get out of my face. Even though I love me some good April Fools type situation. I love those things, but I'm talking about Slumber Party Massacre, The Prowler. I want the image. I want something iconic. We don't have those monstrous things that stick with us. We remember these teens just as much as we remember the slasher. So the decline, even though you don't want no teens, Nikki, I know how you feel, because they're annoying, but rightfully so. We need those because we need that chase, the stalker, the Michael Myers, the Freddys, the Jasons, the Hatchets of the world. We don't have those anymore. And that means we don't have any iconic things. The way I was so happy whenever I discovered Terrifier, I was like, oh my God, we got somebody. We got somebody. I was kind of late a few years back to Terrifier, but I was like, oh my goodness, yay. I was just so excited because we don't get that anymore. I'm here for it. And the decline is in overhaul. It seems like the teens now, we are trying to get more into the tech and social media side. So it's like, oh, the woes of the Instagram, the Facebooks, and defriended, whatever, those things. I don't. And those are fine, those are fine, but that's not a slasher to me. I want some gore. I want some blood. I want people. The teens are there to be annoying and die and be naked. And there's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate that, and we need it back, personally.
You know what?
Sorry.
I cannot. Yes to everything you said. And that's the reason why I said I hate teens. It's going to be a bully trope. They're going to be obnoxious. They're going to be annoying. It's going to be an angsty teen trope. And I'm like, Lord, just kill them. Just kill them. But I know y'all don't want to hear this because this is y'all franchise, but I really feel like Friday the 13th, 2009 really killed the slasher. Like, after that, we just saw a surge of the most horrendous group of teens. I hated those teens in that 2009 Friday the 13th. But I also feel like it's kind of a lost art. There's a reason why we got just an abundance of 80s slashers, because you can easily do like a low budget slasher. Like, it's a simple formula. Celeste, and I know Tyra's opinion because she can always run her mouth. But Celeste, do you feel like the teen slasher has declined, or do you feel like it's still very much alive and kicking?
No, I have to say I agree with a lot of what Tyra said. Like, thank God for Terrifier, because we finally have like a new iconic slasher, and that really is what's missing. We're like getting a shit ton of like requels now, like Scream is back and they want to bring this one back, and it's like, girl, I need a new slasher. We need something refreshing. And that's like the issue, is that everything is like rinse and repeat. And like we need more. Like, I'm done with like 80s nostalgia bait. I don't want the same shit all over again. Like, and half of these teenagers are like written clearly by like older people that have no idea what teenagers are like. And it's like, nobody does any of that. And they think they're like being relatable, and it's not it. I think there are some movies that kind of like tried to do it and like kind of succeeded, but it's not really like at the level that it should be. Like Happy Death Day kind of did its thing and it was cute, but like, is that killer really that iconic? No. Like, nobody remembers the name of this killer anyway. What is it, like Babyface or something?
No, I know it as it reminds me of the mask worn in is it my what is the one?
Valentine.
Yeah, Valentine.
It's the same shit. Exactly. And Valentine is better.
Get a bully trope.
Aquarius the Savage, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat, showing some love to my girls. Thank you so much for the love. We truly appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat on Struggle Reviews TV. And it's so funny y'all mentioned Terrifier, because the hype and excitement when I saw that the first Terrifier is my favorite, and I know y'all like to run. What was the story? There was no. And we had a story. We need to stop that. Yeah, we had an iconic killer stalking these girls on Halloween. That's the story, babes. Like that's the story.
Right.
But I was also so excited because he won in the end. I personally don't think we needed a final girl in that franchise. I was so hyped to finally have a slasher villain that wins. Like how badass or whatever y'all think of Michael, Jason, they all lose. Like I was like, that is just so epic to have a slasher villain that doesn't lose. Something about that just really, really worked for me. I'm just
it's because you hate the teens.
Yeah.
She's done with their shit, honestly.
And also just continuing the conversation of teen slashers going downhill. Now, I feel like horror still absolutely centers teens. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have even a new Romulus. That was my biggest gripe, was why we didn't have frontal lobe fully developed people. We have never had these young teeny boppers in space when we're dealing with Alien. Like, of course, we're going to still center teens. But I feel like a part of the decline of the slasher, number one, I feel like horror historically, obviously we know still to this day, doesn't get like recognized really at like awards. It's always looked at in a certain way. And I feel like now we have the new wave of people that just became horror fans in the last like 10 years who wanted to run with like, oh, I'm into elevated horror, which y'all know around here, we don't believe in elevated horror. Horror has always had something to say. Okay,
What
go check They Live, go check Tales from the Hood. But I feel like now it's all about the trope of like, it has to be an allegory for trauma. And it had like, we've lost the art of just a basic, we finna F these teenagers up type of killer. I just don't understand. And of course, I feel like also every subgenre always has its resurgence. We always get like an oversaturation and then it comes back. Of course, they blamed the 80s for why the slasher declined, because they said they oversaturated the market. But then like the mid 90s, of course, we had a big resurgence of teen slashers. And right now, like I said, as well with the trauma, we are really into this religious horror, possession horror. Y'all know, Tara hates a possession horror.
Oh no. She's not with it.
And I love possession. Give me the devil, give me coke.
Me too. Wait, Tyra, have you seen Possession 1981?
I love that. That's different.
Okay, good. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I was like,
I'm out the recent. Like, if they make another Omen, I don't want to see that funky nun again. Like, I'm sick of it. I don't want them to conjure anything
that's
else.
so valid. It's bad. Yeah.
They came and they disrespected Ellen Burstyn. I don't care for any of those things. I'm over possessive horror and even just the religious aspect.
They lost it. They just lost
tired
it.
of it. I'm sorry.
They really had it in the 70s with all that. Like, they don't got that no more.
The views expressed by Celise is not the views of because no, we doing possession well, okay?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But I feel like I honestly like in trying to figure out like why the teen slasher went downhill. Like I said, I attribute it to that 2009 Friday the 13th. That was the most annoying, ridiculous. Like I didn't root for any. I don't think even the people who love that movie, baby, y'all weren't rooting for nobody but the killer. Like we weren't, except for maybe the girl who everybody thought was going to be the final girl.
What was anyone's name?
That's the thing. Like, who knows? But I feel like for me, when I think of the teen slashers that I look, because I also was feeling like, am I just old? Is that why I hate the teens? But no, it's not because I'm old, because I do agree with Celise. I just saw Time Cut and I was like, do teenagers talk and act like this is what the hell? But I feel like we got better crafted characters, even if they were the tropey. You got to have the virginal friend. You got to have the slutty best friend. You got to have, like I said, the nerdy. Yeah. Like, even if we stuck to the archetype of the teen slasher characters, they were still enjoyable to watch along the way. And you rooted for someone. I feel like movies like Scream, The Faculty. Like, I like those teenagers. I like that cast of teens. And I feel like starting around like 2009, I can't think of any teens that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go up for these. I love those teens. I still quote the Billy Loomis and all of them to this day, and that was 100 years ago. Like, they have such quotables. And I just feel like we don't get dynamic characters. That's one of the things that I think really kills it, as well as just where horror has gone. So, Lise, do you feel like you can pinpoint exactly why the teen slasher subgenre has gone downhill recently?
I wish I knew the answer to that. I really don't. I still think it's because like a lot of people, especially like these studios and stuff, they can't get away from the past. Like, that really is the issue for me. We are not progressing in this subgenre. Like, not everything is going to be the 80s anymore. That to me is like the most annoying thing. Like, Totally Killer and like all these movies. Like, what was the name of the killer? I don't know. Who was the killer even? I don't know. And then they had another movie that was like exactly that.
Time
again. Cut. Yeah, Time Cut. I didn't even watch that. That just really
you saved your
to
brain.
Me. Yeah, that was really bad. Like, the trailer alone, I was like, wow, this does not look like my childhood at all. And I grew up in this era. Like, what is this shit? This is being like written by like older like people that have no idea what they're talking about. But yeah, also the Friday the 13th from 2009, really bad. 2009 was like the time where teen slashers were getting really, really like bad. There's some like very few good ones in there that are kind of just fun because they're stupid. But I want to say for the most part, most of these were so bad. Like, also Sorority Row is one of those ones that like, can you relate to anyone in that? No.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't just me. Time Cut goes back to the early 2000s, and they're supposed to be. I'm like, baby, I was in high school in early 2000s.
Right.
This is not the early. This was somebody's imagination who wasn't in the early 2000s or what. I was like, what? This ain't the early 2000s in school, baby.
I'm like so curious to like who wrote it and like how old they are.
I would love to know as well, because it wasn't working. But I'm glad it's not just me with like certain things, because first of all, no early 2000s horror slander shall prosper. I don't know why people be so down. The early 2000s was a golden era. We got a ton of gems. House of Wax, I love that era. But yes, around that 2009 Friday, Jason did it. He killed it. Like, around that time. All the slashers just went way downhill. Aquarius the Savage, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat over on A Night of Horror. Truly, truly appreciate it. We back, y'all. Make sure y'all show some love. Make sure y'all support all the panelists. Make sure you run up the like, share the video. KillerCon is back. And if we wanted to be, really back to stay, let's show it some love, okay? Let's show it the love that we have for it. Now, Tyra, I know if it ain't this, I know you think if it ain't the 70s, it's trash. But
I never said that. Y'all were trying to put that on me. I never said that.
But you know what? I like to mess with Tyra, but she gave me some real good gems from the 70s that I saw for the first time. So I'm gonna give you that.
Yes.
Because I love to say that I hate the 80s. You know what? I don't hate the 80s. I really don't. I just hate that everybody touts it as like the best era of horror. But Tyra, do you have any type of speculation or idea as to why the teen slasher went downhill?
Of course. Well, all right, so let's start here. So like, the teen slasher is still heavily associated with the final girl for me. Like, regardless if you remember all of the teens, you are going to remember the final girls. The final girls are iconic, and the actual slasher is iconic. We don't have any new like installments to fall in love with teens or slashers or franchises that are fresh. We keep getting, reboots of, they're gonna scream everything out. But we don't care for it, because it's like, we've already met and fallen in love with Neve Campbell over and over, and this person and that person. Let's get something new. And they're not doing that. So you're not meeting anybody that's a teen that you're having stock in and like, oh my gosh, she survived. She's like, what is the final girl now? Like, it's the final girl for this one film, and we never see this broad again. Like, it's just not that. And nothing's memorable. We don't have any memorable slashers, and the decline is happening because I think that the slasher and the teen, I think it's considered lowbrow and low hanging fruit as far as horror. It's like, oh, we don't do that here. We're gonna get all which I love. Like, we do the substance here. We don't do teen slasher. Like, we're not doing that. And I love the substance down, but this is considered like the low hanging fruit of horror. This is a no. We don't do that. This is the cheap, slick way to make some quick money, and people want to be perceived as a certain way in horror. And it's like, to be taken seriously, why would you be doing a teen slasher? Like, who's showing up for that? And it's just, what we're getting is not good. Like I told you, I watched Time Cut. I watched Grip Cuddy. I said,
oh my
what's going on here? Like, they're just not. And the slashers that we do get, like I don't know, Strangers Pray at Night or something. A lot of these films, we are targeting older couples or family in the woods, and we're trying to get, or it's just, like, horror is like 30 and up. 30 and up, and we're antagonizing and chasing you, but not so much the teen. The teens are just left to maybe time travel, go save somebody, be totally killer, and go back in time. Oh my god, yeah, all of that. Or like a Freaky, which I didn't have a problem with. I like Freaky. I had a good time with it, but I wish we got more of like just if they feel like, oh, it can't be done, it's low hanging fruit, what kind of productivity are you going to get from a slasher? I really liked The Hunt. I thought The Hunt was fun as hell. I thought it was creative. I thought it was different. It was still a slasher. We had multiple slashing going on, multiple things that could have became iconic. And I thought it was really creative, a flip on, the haunted house genre along with a slasher. There are ways to do it, but people have to be creative and inventive, and people don't want to do that anymore. We want to get surreal and be the Hereditaries, the Midsummers, the A24s of the world, which I love me some A24 also, but that doesn't make everything else. Like, let's just negate all those other genres of horror. If it's not A24, then we're getting Possession in some Blumhouse situations, some imaginary. I don't want to see that.
Oh my god.
I don't want to see that. Oh, the AI, my house is attacking me. I don't care. I don't care.
Wasn't that just that Disney movie, like Smart House?
Yeah, it was Smart House.
What? Like, girl, we've seen this.
With Peggy from Married. What are we doing here, Disney? We know what this is. We've seen it, but there's a lot of that, and there's the monstrosities of something like, what was that, where the daughter was being kept and she looked like a freaking spider and she was in the walls. It was a cobweb. It's like more scenarios like that, which wasn't terrible, but we're not getting slashers because it's just forgotten, and if we do, it's poor. I think the most recent one we got that was a strong effort that actually went to theaters was Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving was cool for what it was. And I think we're getting a 2. Maybe it'll go on to be whatever, but it's not iconic. I don't remember who the lead was. I didn't care if he survived. I just know that Patrick Dempsey was there. I don't know. But I think that's it. I just think that it's just considered lowbrow and kind of useless at this point. You want to be everything but a teen horror right now.
When I tell you I loathe Thanksgiving, I felt dumber after watching. Don't talk about horrid teen characters. The lead girl was absolutely giving mediocre. Like, y'all be talking about Jennifer Love Hewitt and I Know What You Did Last Summer. No, baby, this is mediocre. This was mediocre.
That's so real. That's true. I agree.
She's still mediocre. It was always supposed to be Sarah Michelle, okay? It was always supposed to be her. I'm not going up there with Jennifer. Nobody wants to see Jennifer. Still don't want to see Jennifer. I'm okay on that. Okay.
But I love that you talked about like how the slasher is like low-hanging fruit. Like, that's my synopsis of the decline of teen slashers. Is I feel like we did a whole article showing box office results 10 years ago versus now, where 10 years ago we had no horror movies in the box office top 10, and now horror dominates the box office top 10. And I feel like with that we have a slew of like new horror fans who became horror fans within the last like 10, 15 years. And I feel like it's all about, oh, like even the people that kind of talk down on stuff like Terrifier or Terrifier-esque films where it's like, oh, it's just mindless gore. I feel like there's this attitude now that stuff has to be the substance and it has to be hereditary and it has to be, which just like you said, Tyra, those are all great. I fucking love the substance, okay? But I think that is the beauty of the horror genre and why I really hate when people talk about elevator horror. I think the variety has always been there with horror, and that's what I love about it. You could get a movie like They Live or Tales from the Hood, but you could also get a movie like Pieces or Demons. Like, it's the variety, and I feel like we have really lost the art of the variety of horror, and it hurts my heart. Because I want some brainless horror. I just want to see teens get chopped up. But I also, want to see something where I feel for the characters and there's some depth to it. And like, I want a smorgasbord of, all of that. And of course, getting into all of that, it gets into our biggest problems with the modern teen slashers, which, like I said, it's the writing of the characters. I really feel like I can't even get past the characters. Like, it's like nails on the chalkboard. Like, that's why y'all always hear me on this channel say I hate teens. That's why I haven't seen Fear Street yet. Because it's gonna take a lot for me to see something with teens. I be trying. Anytime I see something with teens, it's because y'all be lying and saying it was good, like Thanksgiving and stuff.
Thanksgiving was not that bad, Nikki. It wasn't.
I felt dumber. Like, my brain cells died.
Oh Lord. I think in that month I saw them funky animatronics over there with Five Freddy Nights,
Oh yeah, that
wasn't good either.
That made Thanksgiving look amazing in my book.
They could have did so much better with that. That was so disappointing.
Yeah, I will say at least Thanksgiving wasn't that 5 night, that was boring for me. Like, I was like, baby, this it? This it? Like, if it weren't for me seeing Matthew Lillard, they could have threw the whole movie away. Like, there was nothing salvageable. Yeah, it didn't work. But I personally feel like the biggest problem with the modern, because it's not many. Because I even messaged Tyra trying to put this together. Like, baby, where are the slashes? Like, am I missing anybody? No, I wasn't missing anybody. We have gotten recent slashers like Summer of '84, Fear Street, like I just mentioned, but we don't have many. But I feel like the ones we do have, I personally feel like one of the biggest issues, because like Tyra said, it's the creativity. It's lackluster killers that aren't memorable. And as much as I love a one and done horror, like a solid one and done, I think slashers are that genre for the multiple sequels, because like Tyra said, we want to see the final girl come back. We want to see the killer be iconic and come back. But Babyface should only belong in R&B. I don't know why they try to put him in horror. We ain't want to see him come back. Like, no.
That's why we haven't. We haven't even got 3. Weren't they supposed to make that?
You know what? They were supposed to make a third one.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they didn't.
Me too, actually. The second one was getting a little bit crazy. I'm sorry.
But I feel like writers cannot seem to create witty, engaging, interesting, entertaining, or sympathetic teen characters. Like, somebody we can root for or have fun with. Because not all slashers have people you're going to like root for or care that they die, but they'll be witty. They'll be enjoyable. Like, because obviously a movie is a lot of moving parts, and I just think the characters that we have to follow, at least the type of audience I am, is really about the characters that I'm following. And I actually don't agree with the sentiment, oh, we just don't have the young actors anymore. I feel like Sadie Sink is amazing. She could be the head of a horror franchise. The girl, what was my baby name? I think her name is pronounced Kylie Curran, the girl who played Abra in Dr. Sleep. She could absolutely lead a horror franchise. Like, I think that young actors are there, or the old actors, because it wasn't always teenagers playing them. The old actors who can still play young actors, the young-ish actors. I think the actors are there. I really think there is a gap in writing dynamic characters. We always stick to the same cliche characters, which teen slashers have always stuck to the same cliche characters, archetype of the characters, but we always had characters, for me, for the most part, that like I said, were witty, were dynamic, that you enjoyed. I don't understand why y'all go up for Kirby. She ain't do nothing. Baby couldn't stop at the stop sign, right? I don't know what the hell she was doing. But she had like her iconic ghost face call. Like, I just feel like there aren't moments with these recent slashers that are like, oh, this character was memorable, or we're going to be quoting these characters for the next 30 years like we quote Scream. Celeste, what do you feel is the biggest problem with the modern slashers that we do get?
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the issue is the writing. And I just feel like it's too like okay, we have to think about bodies real quick, right? And now I had fun with this movie. But like this movie is so of the time that when we watch it in like 5 years, we're going to be like, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe that they made them say that. Like, just the way they talk is so of the time. And it's just like they think that that's going to be relatable for years and years to come. And it's like, it's not. I don't know. It's yeah, the writing is like a big issue, but I do think that like movies like X kind of nailed it. Like, we have like these teen characters and they're all like their own kind of like individual people, and like I feel like they nailed it with that. But again, it's like I don't remember everybody's name from X except for Maxine. So I just feel like that's a problem. Like, I just don't think that our characters are like dynamic enough.
And it's interesting you talk about like the slang and stuff, because I just saw Christine for the first time, which is a play on a slash, because it's a car trying to stalk and kill them. And they said a few words that, the slang from like that era. I was like, what the hell? But I feel like nowadays it's so oversaturated. It literally feels like AI writing the dialogue for teenagers.
That's
like
the problem.
Yeah, like of course you're going to have slang and different things of the time, but it's like now it's like the whole sentence is constructed in such an unnatural way, and I'm just like, baby, are the kids talking like this?
It's like giving brain rot. Like, nobody's gonna remember any of that shit. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Tyra, what do you think is the biggest problem with the slashers that we do get nowadays? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Before I get to Tyra, let me acknowledge Miss Vanessa Wicked with the $10 super chat. Shout out to Vanessa Wicked, the number one night, because she always coming through. Shout out to you, Vanessa. Thank you so much for the support. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark has depth, and I felt for the characters. I enjoy Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I wouldn't really put it in the, I mean, it's teens and they're being killed off, but it's supernatural, if I remember correctly, elements in that. But yes, I did like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, I wouldn't write home about it. I can't remember them teens. I think one of them was being bullied. Is that the one where he was being bullied because he was Mexican or something? I can barely even remember. I think that was like they were being racist against him.
They were.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, what movie?
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh, I haven't seen
it. A few years ago. I think it's based on like a YA book.
It felt like a Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't look like for my age group.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm not supposed to go see
it.
This.
It feels like an introduction to a horror type of movie. Like, if you have a kid and you don't want them to see Terrifier, you take them to see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. But Tyra, what do you think is the biggest problem with the modern slashers that we get?
Where the teens at? If I see some 40-somethings walking up
no, hold on now.
Now, I know that the labor laws are different. We got to conduct ourselves differently than we did back there in the 70s and the 80s, because the way that they were abusing all kind of rights, having them children on set. But like, I would like to see some actual teens. I want to see some fresh faces. A lot of people want to go to we can't call Anya Taylor-Joy for everything, okay? Let her take a break. Let her take a little break sometimes. We won't have to call her for everything. It's just, maybe, take a chance on a young kid. Take a chance on an unknown. Like, for the most part, that's an issue. And I just don't care about anybody. I just love to care. Like I can remember like where I was the first time I watched like When a Stranger Calls from the 70s, not that remake. And I really wanted her to live, like, or Black Christmas. I really cared about, the characters there. Or hell, I don't know, Kirsty and Hellraiser, like you care about these people, like you want them to make it out, like you don't want, or when you see like your fave, I'm gonna go up for Sarah every time when you was looking back when you should have been looking forward and you got stabbed, Sarah. What are you looking back for? The crowd was where the parade was right there. Like I like to care about those people, those things that hit home, and like when you can argue, like she should have survived to the end. Oh my God, that is just not here. The lines are blurred because people also want to be bankables, and if they do get unnamed, that means we're getting a tired ass script. They're gonna throw together a plot. Oh, this evil bad is just coming to kill. Like what is going on? Those things are it's just gonna be really really random and generic. And if we do have names, they want it to be elevated because we have Anya Taylor-Joy, and you're gonna get the menu. You're gonna get Last Night in Soho. You're gonna get, and I like these films, I really do. But you're gonna get the M like Shamalama Ding Dong and be trapped and all this stuff. I'm just tired. I just miss, traditional horror. If there's room for those things, there has to be room for these. And it seems like the only space that it's like you can find maybe a undiscovered teen slasher is on the outskirts of Tubi and Shudder. I shouldn't have to be digging through things for years to find something decent that's, a slasher. I don't know. And then I think they tried to do something. Is that Winnie the Pooh stuff slasher?
Stop. We don't even talk about that.
It's that Nikki likes it. Nikki likes it.
No, you don't.
I had so much. I watched that first
No,
Winnie the
you
Pooh
don't.
movie like 14 times the year it came out.
No,
I was obsessed.
No.
I love that movie. That was a So Bad It's Good.
The first one or the second one?
The first. I hated the second one. I didn't even finish the second one. I watched the second one for I think they killed a black person
somehow
first.
even more impressive to me. What do you mean you like the first one better than the second one? The first one is crazy.
First of all, they messed up we don't need diversity everywhere. Don't put no black person to win the pool. We would not be there. They made me mad with that. Then I think they killed the black person first. I said, get the hell out of here with this movie. I could have. But that first one, oh my gold. I was laughing from top to bottom. I had a great time with that movie.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Brought it up. Just like, oh no.
Celeste lost all respect for me now.
I'm genuinely like, I need to know everything. Like everything you like. We're gonna have to talk about this.
We're gonna
talk about it one day
in depth backstage. But yeah, and it took me a while to get to it because people acted like it was the worst movie in the. I waited till it was free on Peacock. I said, "Oh, this ain't so." What they talking about?
What do you mean? No, girl. That's no.
Sure. And then I just want, if we're not going to get the teens, we're going to pretend. I wish it wasn't so geared towards adult. Like I love The Hunt. I love Ready or Not. I love, You're Next. But those aren't teens, so we can't put them here.
Well, The Hunt was college age teens. They were in college.
No, The Hunt with the
The Hunt.
Yeah, the other one, they were dropped off in the woods.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's good, but if we could get some of those scenarios with teens and just running through the forest with all your titties out, I'm here for it. Like you're gonna die. Let's do that. More titties in horror, please. Everybody's all covered.
You know
they're not really doing that anymore.
Ageism from Tyra. I don't like the ageism. Give the 40s and the 30-year-olds they spot in horror. Okay,
no, that's fine. But even if it's just like You're Next, we should be on like at least our third installment of You're Next by now. Like.
Yeah. And
You're Next is a template to where we could put anybody there. We could just continue on with the same. You keep letting them strangers pray at night on some unassuming couple. Let the other people like the things that they should be, continuing on. They just halted and stopped. And it's like, oh, we got that really good movie that one time. We could continue these on.
Yeah, You're Next is absolutely amazing slasher. That proves we can still do slashers. I don't know what they're doing.
It's so sad that they didn't continue You're Next.
Yeah.
It's really
But to
crazy.
echo Tyra, please stop casting Anya Taylor-Joy and Michael Monroe. Get them the hell out of here and give us some fresh new baby. They don't had enough. Okay. They don't had enough. Please give us some new people. And I'm with
I'm
Tyra.
this close. I'm this close over there with old Jenna Ortega. Like, just look, it's other people to call. I promise.
Yeah, I want to see like new, and that's the thing when we got stuff like Scream. Nev Campbell wasn't a household name. Like Skeet Ulrich, what that this was a relatively unknown cast. Like you, but I just feel like Tyra said, it's like they don't really want to put money behind it if they don't have a name. But y'all put Brandy in that mess. Like,
Oh
no,
my god,
like,
that was so bad.
Belinda, are you talking about Belinda? Terrible film. Ugh.
Now, I just wanted to touch on an article that I read recently about teen slashers, and it was talking about how they said teen slashers were never good, they were just fun. And I think this leans into the critiques that the horror genre has always received. I think teen slashers were absolutely 100% good, well-crafted films. I don't think they were just fun. Obviously, you have your schlocky, just fun, just mindless entertainment type of slashers. But this article really pissed me off. They were just going on about how, talking about movies from the 80s and how they were never actually good. We just, had fun.
They said 80s?
Yes, they were specifically highlighting the 80s and how horror has come such a long way. And that's why we've come so far from slashers of the 80s. I'm just like, baby, no. And I felt like you're not a horror fan, whoever wrote that. Like, you don't know horror.
Absolutely not.
But I just wanted to throw that in because we're talking about it. But going into what I think is one of the biggest issues, which are the characters, I wanted us to spotlight some of our iconic teen characters. And y'all know I'm gonna always go up for the franchise that Tyra loves to hate. The whole cast of Scream was the most iconic. Like, I don't care. Like, my mom's gonna be so mad at me. Like, you quote
iconic. Yes.
Your mom's no Sharon Stone, Sid. Like, that movie is so Randy.
And how many slashers wanted to be exactly like them?
Yes. Scream.
It's for a reason.
We had all the 80s slashers. It started to decline. Y'all know I go up for 90s, 2000s, but that early 90s didn't really, it was a mess. They didn't really know their identity early 90s. But then we got that mid 90s resurgence of slashers, and then they all kind of carbon copy, even if they were good. Carbon copy Scream. Scream kind of brought back the iconic teen slasher. And I feel like even a hater like Tyra appreciates that first Scream movie.
I do. Just the first one.
Oh no.
But Tyra, who are some of the most iconic teen characters for you from slashers? Like, I just like that whole cast. Like, we don't get cast like that no more. We don't get the Skeet Ulriches. Like, we don't get, we don't get that no more. And that's one of the biggest problems.
I don't know. I think the entire cast of that first rolling into I can't say the second one because they have those homoerotic undertones. But Nightmare on Elm Street, that's my favorite. The way you go up for your Scream cast, I go up for the Nightmare on Elm Street cast. I don't think there's nobody walking more iconic than Nancy. She's the perfect final girl for me. I love Nancy through and through the franchise. Like, there's nobody that's beating that for me. I can't think of who. Nobody. Like, the only other person was Jamie Lee Curtis a teen? Okay, she was supposed to be. They're iconic. Like, she's iconic. The cast, of something like Carrie. Like, these people are iconic. But Nancy's gonna take it every single time for me. I love Nancy. I don't think a lot of the final folks hold a candle to her personally. But Nell did, her stuff. She did her big one over there. Rose McGowan was, going out that little ass doggy door. I appreciate Scream. I think Scream is a well-crafted film. I think the second one isn't bad. Everything else that was ever Scream can go by the wayside for me. I'm sorry.
Celeste, do you have any of your most iconic teen characters?
Yeah, I agree with you on the entire cast of the first Scream. Iconic. Um, yeah.
No one's holding a candle to that cast. Sorry,
No.
Nancy.
Like I'm sorry, they don't make them like that anymore. But like there's so many lines from all the different characters that are iconic. And like
Yes.
what movie has that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I do have to give credit to my girl Nancy because she was really one of the first final girls to like challenge the slasher and outsmart him. Like, cause like Laurie is also iconic, but she kind of really didn't do anything. I know nobody wants to hear that, but like she was in the closet with the hanger doing nothing. Okay? I'm sorry. And I love Laurie. I love the Halloween movies, but like we need to be serious on that. So Nancy icon. And I have to throw in our new final girl, Sienna from Terrifier, because I think she's really becoming iconic. And she's becoming like relatable for a lot of people. And I'm excited to see what they do with her in 4. It's cool to see that she's like supernatural-ish. I don't know.
I mean, if we're gonna go over there, the cast of, you know, we're take this to our grave. Like, why are you yelling at her like that? The cast of, I know what you mean last summer. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, so good.
They are pretty iconic, you know. Anything that was parodied in Scary Movie is iconic, okay?
They're iconic. That's so true. I agree.
Yes, we don't have the Ryan Felipes and the Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Damn.
We don't have them no more. What y'all doing? Where are the talent scouts and the casting agents? What are y'all?
We
Y'all asleep
need
at the
it.
wheel. Oh my God. Yes, I love that cast. Absolutely. Y'all ain't gonna be talking mess about I Know What You Did Last Summer or I Still Know. I like Jack Black and I Still Know. So leave
Oh
him alone.
Lord, please, nobody said that. Nobody
That's
said that.
crazy.
Be on that hill alone. I don't want that.
That's really crazy.
And now we are going to get into our first horror versus segment. And of course, it will be all teen slasher themed. And I guess I already know not to ask Tyra or a versus of Nancy and Sydney, but Tyra, the cast of The Faculty versus the cast of Scream, who coming out on top?
Girl, guaranteed to jack you up. Josh Hartnett is over there, and damn, who's at the bottom? Josh Hartnett is over there, and I don't care. So I'm gonna go up there with the faculty. And you know, my favorite horror film ever is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is just Invasion of the Body Snatchers Jr. I'm gonna go with the faculty.
Celeste, who's coming out on top? The cast of Scream or the cast of The Faculty?
Listen, this is great. I love both of these movies, but I have to be real. And you guys know I'm a Scream girly. But I gotta be real. The Faculty, they were smart as fuck. They were out here doing shit like, and Josh Hartnett. Come on. Like, that's daddy right there. Be serious.
Weird haircut, still look good.
Exactly. Completely botched and still makes it work.
I don't know why they did that haircut on that man.
He did it himself.
Oh, he did his haircut?
Yes.
Like he took a bowl and
I heard this in an interview. He did it himself.
went on.
Wow. Okay, I was
He
trying to
botched
blame
himself.
the hairstylist on set. Tyra, your franchise. Who
Yes.
coming out on top? The cast of the original Nightmare on Elm Street or the cast of Nightmare on Elm Street 3?
Though I love me some Patricia Arquette, and you know that I love the little snag tooth that just be sitting over there. I love her. I love her so much.
She's so cute.
Besides Patricia and Kincaid over there, none of them like really stick out for me. And that damn wizard segment always, but I hate that segment in the film. Like, we were doing so well with our powers and what we could do in the dream state. Here you come being the damn wizard. I hated that. It's Johnny Depp is up there. What are you talking about? Johnny Depp in that bed, that iconic killing of Tina. Tina's kill is like infamous. And Nancy is just Nancy. Even, our bad boy, he was doing, till he got strung up in that jail. He was doing what he needed to do. I was here for it. And then we were getting it in. They was out here effing. I can't say what I want to say, but they was effing. They was getting it in all heavy. They was sweating. I was like, oh my goodness. Are you guys teenagers or what? All this stamina. It was just so thick in there. It was hot.
She needs the horny horror. I get it. It's that 70s horror loving right there. Yes, girl, I love Jalo. I get it. I love horny movies.
Yeah, when he comes down and she just got home Road Rock, and then we go to sleep and Freddie pops up. This is God. He has that one weird shot where one's arm like longer than the other. It's iconic. It's iconic. Even the ending, snatching that ragman doll through the window. I love it.
Wes Craven ain't want that damn.
That is my favorite line is when Nancy gets up and Johnny Depp's ass. She's like, "What did you do, you little shit? You fell asleep. What? You had one job, Johnny. Lord." I love it.
So you didn't like the rocker chick in 3?
I mean, she was cool. Like, I was always there for Patricia, and that's when they killed off Nancy and stuff. It has its quirks. I love that one. But I love just this is when he got really more into the comical bag, and we got into the sequences that's happening in the dream. And, all of a sudden we turning people into roaches, which I love too. But I really love the groundedness and just the boiler room and just really getting into the spookiness in that first one. It was menacing.
Well, justice for Kincaid, but Celise, which cast is coming out on top for you?
I'm gonna have to go with the OG. Like, Nancy's gonna fuck him up, I don't know. They're iconic. And also, unpopular opinion, I don't love Dream Warriors.
What?
So...
Get off the panel. You gotta go.
So sorry.
I like 3 better than the original.
Oh, I say all that now. I can't do that. No.
Now, when Patricia's is running and she's holding that little doll, like, girl, what are you doing? And Freddie turns into a worm. Like,
yeah, it gets really goofy. They really leaned into the comedy.
Yeah. We had Lawrence Fishburne.
He was there doing. At least he didn't die. He didn't die.
Yeah. Unlike how they did the black guy in The Shining, just die for nothing.
Axe to the chest. Like, oh, Doc. Why,
Doc? The cast that I hate the most, but y'all go up for, the cast of Scream 4 versus the cast of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Do I even have to ask? This should be unanimous. Tyra, who coming out on top?
We already know I ain't going down there with them people. I don't even know them. All I know is that girl's name is Kirby, and that's Hayden, and that's Emma Roberts' niece or something. I don't acknowledge none of this stuff. It's the top. Absolutely, it's the top. Girl, please, no competition.
When I tell you, nobody on that bottom. We don't have the Freddie Prinze Jr.'s. We don't have the
Macaulay Culkin kids down there. Is that who that is?
Yeah, we were supposed to be scared of him, Tyra. He was Ghostface.
Oh.
Macaulay
on Christmas. Is that like a sibling? He looks like it.
Yes, that's his brother. That's his younger brother.
Oh, okay. It's nice to know they were over there. I never knew.
Yeah. Literally the most like joke of a Ghostface for me is Jill and Macaulay Culkin little brother. I don't even know his name.
Rory Culkin.
No, I mean like his character name. Like you don't either. See, he that insecure.
I really don't. I don't remember it.
And the only reason I remember Jill's name is because y'all talk her up so much. But which cast do you have coming out on top, Celise?
It's I Know What You Did Last Summer for me. I'm sorry.
I know that we got to start telling some truth. And speaking of telling the truth, I'm glad that somebody finally said about how boring and how nothing of a character Laurie Strode was. Because, baby, they had to have Dr. Loomis come in and say for all time. I really ain't like Laurie Strode till like H2O. That's when she started fighting, from what I remember.
Yes. Oh, that's actually my favorite version of Laurie is H2O. That was when she was really doing shit.
Yeah, because I was like, the Halloween, that's the era where a man always had to come save the final girl. So I'm like, I can't really get behind y'all with Laurie until the later years. But now we have our teen slasher BFF showdown. We have Tatum, Riley, and we have Sarah Michelle Gellar. What team BFF is coming out at the top? Celise.
Oh my god. I love both of them. They're both so iconic. No, I gotta give it to Tatum. I'm sorry. I gotta give it to her. The doggy door, like, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. Girl, come on. And her cute little fits. No, it's going to her.
See how we have so many. I love I want to be in the sequel. Like,
so good, and her delivery is so good.
Kirby wasn't doing that like that. Like, come on now.
No, I don't know why everybody loves Kirby. I don't understand.
Like I don't get. She literally didn't do anything the whole movie.
She didn't.
Outside like all y'all can give her is the Ghostface call. Like that's.
I think people just love Hayden Panettiere, which like same, but like the character itself is like, what did she do?
I would have to go with my girl Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I gotta go with Sarah. And Sarah has some iconic like little strings in horror, whether it was Scream 2, whether it was I Know What You Did. I love even that terrible Grudge remake, American version remake. I'm just gonna always go up for Sarah. I'm gonna go with Pageant Queen. Tyrone, which teen slasher BFF is coming out on top?
It's hard. Because these are two of the picks where I was like, why weren't they our final girls? They were so much better than those heifers you had in the leads.
Now, hold on now. No slander shall prosper.
They were.
You know, the virgin, she was the sex kitten friend. She had to die. That's the rules.
Like, why they had to take out the blunts? Okay, it's cool. I don't know. Like, I really like the both of them, and you know how I go for Sarah. But they both died just making dumb decisions. I do love that. I just gotta go with Sarah because I really want Sarah to every single time. I don't care how many times I watch it, and I'm just not a massive fan. But I'm like, girl, like, what are you turning around for? I have to go with her, and just. The turnaround was dumb, but the doggy door will go down in history as the dumbest decision ever. Yeah, It's dumb.
And I have to defend Sarah in this moment because her turning around didn't get her killed. It always bugged me, even as a child. It is very illogical. The fisherman would have had to go down to the first floor, go out the door, go around the block, and get in front of her and hide behind the tires.
Doing that? Technicalities, getting all we don't do that with slashers. Slashers, first of all slashers walk. Okay. They magically appear. They're gonna walk and get you every time. That's what makes them iconic. We don't have to run. I'm just gonna get there. I'm gonna levitate there.
She should have survived even with her. He should not have been able to get in front of her. Absolutely not. And of course, I know this is gonna be so hard and heartbreaking for Tyra because this is her franchise. But I had to put the new Scream Final Girl against the OG triple double OG Final Girl because y'all love to go up for her. And let's be real. If we gonna be real and talk about how Nancy do, baby, she ain't do nothing. This little girl was nothing but her sister's sidekick. She literally does nothing in both movies. Like, she's literally feels like a sidekick character. But who's coming out on top for you, Celise? The Queen Triple Double OG. She is the Scream franchise. Nev Campbell, Sydney, or I don't even know Jen Ortega. Is she Sam?
That's Tara.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough, but I do agree that Tara does not do a lot. This is because I love Tara and Sam in the new Scream movies, and I love seeing Latinas winning. But she really did nothing. Sam definitely carries the movie. Love Jenna, though. But I have to give it to Sydney, obviously. Icon. And, like, she was doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And she went through a lot of shit.
Right. I know this is really gonna make your head split open, Tyra. I know this is gonna be a real hard one for you. Who coming out on top?
Because I'm not going to sit here and act like this heifer didn't get in that next film and act like everything was okay. So you forgot you almost died. You forgot everything we went through just because you in college. Like, she was annoying. She was annoying. Annoying as hell. She, like, useless. Just useless. Martyr for the fire. Nev is iconic. This shouldn't even be next to anything. Like, I like how everybody's like, oh, they walked away. They're not going to be in the next sucker. Who cares? Who cares? What did you ever do? Like, they just random. Like, it's just here in name only. Like, to add, like, hey, Jenna Ortega's here. Who gives a damn? What is she doing here? Yes, it's inevitable. They shouldn't even be next to each other. Don't you even play on Nev's time by putting her.
That's how I feel, Tyra. But the new Scream fans go up for Sam.
No, we don't go up for them children. We don't know them people.
I love Sam. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Sidney Prescott all day for me. And of course, I had to do the other new Scream final girl of Sam. Now, what I will say, I'm truly not a fan of Sam or Tara, but at least Sam is active and she fights and she does something. Her sister don't do a damn thing. Like,
she does nothing.
Nothing. But it's gonna always be the triple double OG. The same way I feel like, you know, the Terminator franchise is Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Die Hard franchise is, you know, Bruce Willis. Scream is Neve Campbell for me, and it's gonna always be the MF and Sidney Prescott. But Celeste, who you got coming out on top in the Scream Final Girls?
See, no, this is actually hard because I ride very hard for Melissa Benetta in this movie. I'm gonna be real. I really like Sam's lore and everything she goes through in the movies. I gotta give it to her. I'm so sorry.
What?
I know be the odd one out, but like, sorry.
That just took 10 years off my life.
I'm so sorry.
And we talk about backstory. Sydney had to suffer because her mama was hunching. Like, it don't like
that's true. No, that's true.
And it was misogyny because Billy Daddy got to walk away scot-free. He the one cheated, but he
that was crazy. That is true. But then we got the daughter of a serial killer. I don't know. I love it. Love it.
Tyra, do I even need to ask you?
Girl, please.
She's done.
Unless they really like, if they would have really committed and she was maybe at one point underneath one of the masks doing the killing, I would be here for her. If they would have did some duality and she was both victim and killer and she had some type of alternate personalities due to her decrepit father and family lineage, I would have liked her. But her and old Loomis, it does nothing for me. It just reminds me of a better killer. I'm like, oh, look at Billy over there. You know, he was doing your thing in that white t-shirt, you know. I keep waiting. If they could just make it to where Matthew lived and he's just heavily, you know, fixed, like this was him. He's had a whole face reconstruction, and then this is Matthew now. Like, do that. Bring like something. They didn't do anything with her. I was never impressed. I don't get the hype, honestly. It's Neve Campbell.
I don't either.
Just in case y'all didn't know.
I thought it was because I'm old and I was in the movie theater for the first Scream in 1996 because I'm like I don't, but like I said, I can at least give her the fact that she's active and she does stuff. But yeah, I don't get the hype, but I get the hype when it comes to Celeste because she's gonna go up for the Latin. If it was a black final girl up here next to Neve, I'm gonna go with her. Okay, but
thank you.
So I'll give you that. I'll give you Melissa for that. And then we have some OG final girls. The franchise that I say is one of the worst in horror, Friday the 13th. I think she's the final girl from the second Friday the 13th part 2. And then we got Nancy. Celeste, who coming out on top for you?
It's Nancy. I don't even remember her name. I'm sorry. And also, I don't like the Friday the 13th.
Oh my God. You know what?
We're not doing that here. I'm so sorry. Absolutely not. Every time I try to watch it, lights out. No.
And I tried. If anybody is interested and haven't seen it, I did rank horror franchises, like 90 horror franchises last week live. If you want to check that out, Friday the 13th, and I gave it a literal, honest chance. I watched them all in order this summer, and I said, "Baby, hell no!" Like, I don't see what Jason is boring as hell, but
he is. Thank you.
Tyra, do I even have to ask?
No, it's so hard. You know, old. I think her name was Jennifer or Jenny. Old Jenny over there.
Oh, Jenny. That's right, Jenny.
Yeah, you know, Jenny is just so iconic. It's Nancy, girl. Nancy.
And now this category will be the most mediocre final girl versus the most mediocre final girl. We have the final girl from Urban Legend, and we have the final girl from House of Wax. I think like 2005 remake. When we talk y'all gonna leave Jennifer Love Hewitt alone. I had Jennifer Love Hewitt album when I was a kid. I used to love Jennifer Love Hewitt. Y'all gonna leave her alone.
What's the song?
Ghost Whisperer. Come on,
sing the song. What the album say? What was it?
I haven't listened. Well, one of the songs are playing in I Still Know. It was like I'm not finna go in here. I'm not Tyra. Okay, I ain't got the pipe.
I genuinely wanted to know what her song. I don't
Tyra trying to set me up.
I don't remember that. I want if you harmonize, maybe it'll come back to me. I'll be like, oh, she did sing that. I don't know what it is, so I just No
but I used to love. I don't know why y'all be calling Jennifer Love Hewitt like me. I go up for Sarah all day, but I don't know why y'all be calling her mediocre.
Everybody knows Jennifer Love Hewitt was brunette hair and titties. Like, what are we talking about here?
Baby, nobody else gave you the what do you want? I'm right here.
And that's why you remember that, because it was titties. What are you waiting for? I'm right here. Yeah, it was titties yelling at the camera. Okay.
But I personally feel like, and I love both of. I think House of Wax is so underrated. I never hear anybody talk about that slasher. Urban Legend, I think, is iconic. I love both of these movies, but I think these are they're just giving mediocre whites. Like I up and down, they're just mediocre. Tyra, who is the most mediocre final girl out of these two? I don't even remember their names. We got Urban Legend and we got House of Wax.
I don't really remember, besides, lady with the crazy eyes and the crazy hair who's actually the killer.
Yeah, the clear cell girl.
I remember that, and I remember, my baby,
Loretta Devine.
Charles Lee Ray. It was like, somebody's in the backseat, girl, look at the backseat. That's what I remember. I don't remember her per se, but I do remember Miss Mama's hair and that super glue on her lips. Anybody who's pulling that apart, I'm a fan. He had her little fingers were all divvied up. He had to get through and moisten them lips to get that scream out so Chad Michael Murray could come get her. I remember that, so I'm gonna go with her.
You know what? I will give her that. And it's a reason you remember all that stuff, but not her from her. She's literally just forgettable, mediocre. But yes, baby in House of Wax was at least like really fighting for her life and ripping her lips apart and like fighting at the end with Chad Michael Murray, who was supposed to be her twin brother. They were the most untwin like twins.
Girl,
but
Paris said, "Oh my God, that's hot." She was there. So hot.
And I feel like that's why this movie didn't get the love, because like Paris Hilton was in it. Y'all know we had Usher in the horror. We always used to do the celebrity cameo in a slasher or something. Don't let Paris Hilton like deter. This movie is it's the greatest. Stop sleeping on early 2000s horror. Celeste, who do you have coming out on top as the most mediocre final girl?
The most mediocre. Oh my God. What is her name from Urban Legend?
The girl from Urban Legend.
Look it up.
Like, who even knows? It's gotta go to I don't know. I don't remember her character name either, but I know the actress's name. Alicia Cuthbert?
I forgot. Jared Leto was in Urban Legend.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember Loretta Devine. She was a black cop.
Yes.
I remember that.
Because there ain't many of us that survived. So we're going to remember the few of us that survived.
Tara Reid is over there. Okay, I remember Danielle Harris because she was the goth roommate.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. She was like having sex.
Robert Englund was there. You know what? I'm going to go run this back.
You should, Tyra. It's so good. And it has aged well. I think and I love the whole like play. See, that's what we need in a teen slash. I like the play on people dying based on an urban legend. That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was creative. Yeah. Her name was Natalie Simon, by the way.
So her character's name is Natalie.
Natalie. Yeah. So we're saying who is coming out on top
as the most mediocre.
As the most mediocre. Oh, okay. It has to be Natalie then. I don't even remember anything she's doing. And I actually really like Urban Legend, but
Yes,
I can't tell you what she even did.
because she's that forgettable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody remember you, babe. I'm sorry to that lady. Wherever you are, I'm sure you're great, but we don't remember you. And that was our first round of horror versus horror. And of course, if we're critiquing the teen slasher and talking about the decline of the teen slasher, we have to get into what we think is the formula that makes a great slasher, and the movie that we think is like, if you look up teen slasher in a dictionary, what movie will be the prototype? And y'all know I love to say I'm not a 70s, 80s girly. I love to talk crap about that decade. But I'm gonna have to go with an 80s slasher as what I think is the bar and the formula, and it's gonna be The Prowler. I actually freaking love that movie. Talk about an iconic killer look.
Who told you to watch it? Who was it? It was me. That's who it was.
Yes, I saw it for the first time because it was a part of a list of movies Tyra gave me. And I have rewatched it quite a bit in this 1 year. I actually just rewatched it yesterday and I was like, yes, this is the prototype. This is the bar. We have college age teens in The Prowler. I think the formula for a great slasher is a great villain look, and I think a great villain backstory or lore. And I don't even think you need to like fill in the holes specifically. Like, for example, with Michael, we don't know why he killed his sister or killed people, but we get a little lore and backstory on him being this evil, nothing behind the eyes when he was a child. I think the villain is really a cornerstone of a great slasher, because you need, even though The Prowler, if I'm not mistaken, is a one and done, you need a great villain to carry on for a franchise. And I think that is absolutely a cornerstone. I think the cold open and the ending jump scare is absolutely a key formula to a great slasher. A final girl is the formula, even though the final girl in The Prowler, I mean, nothing special, but you know, she served her purpose. And I think you need great kills, and The Prowler has great kills. Tyra, what do you think is the formula for a great slasher? And what's the one slasher that you feel is the absolute prototype of a great slasher?
Well, you know, we need blood first. I don't want no PG slasher, okay? I don't want no PG-13 moment. Stop trying to garner everybody in the damn theater. Everybody might not need to be there. And even people act like we didn't roll up or go in, act like people are checking ID at the door like this. 54 to get into the damn movie. Let it be rated R. Like, go for the gore. I want to see blood. I want to see death. I want to see mindless, like, just kills. Like, oh, he did you see that? Did you see Jason put them in a sleeping bag and bang them against the tree mindlessly? Like, oh my God. I want the blood. I want the R rating. I want the slasher. I want a really good killer. And that goes to, I guess, what I'm about to say about what I will put there in a dictionary. And though I really, really love A Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm going to go with something different. I'm going to go with Black Christmas, because I love the fact that we don't see him. I love that. There is so much screen time for anything now. Like, you're seeing, they want to put you in broad daylight. Like, this is the killer. I like the aspect of not knowing, or getting a little bit, or getting an eye, or getting an elbow, a rocking chair. Like, we don't know. I think the not knowing, like I said, with the When a Stranger Calls, like, you don't see anything. And it's, you know, just as terrifying because you're just wondering. I like that. Give more killers to where, or like when we, even though I know you wasn't there and you don't care about Candyman, I like that we don't see Candyman up until 45 minutes in the film. I like that we don't get, I think Pinhead gets 10 minutes of screen, that's probably pushing it, 5 minutes of screen time and with those Cenobites. Like, just let the story unfold, because if you're relying too much on that slasher and trying to give him lore and backstory and motive to why he turned out this way, and oh, the mom was abusive and the daddy was a drinker and he beat him. We don't want to know that. We don't always need to know that. We don't need to know, like, we never needed to know that the Terrifier was some entity, demonic thing from hell or something. We don't need those details. Like, just leave well enough.
We did, Tyra.
We didn't need that. Like, I like that aspect. And we need really great scripts. Just great. And it's not, it's so easy to write a slasher, you know? So I don't know why it would be so hard, but if we could get, you know, a well executed script, some really great acting, it doesn't have to be it can be a no name. They're just really great at their performance. A slasher, we get just enough, not too much. I think it could be great.
Yeah, and I agree. I guess I won't use the term easy to write a slasher, but I think it's a very simple formula. Like any other subgenre that you're going to tackle, of all the subgenres in horror that you would tackle, like I said, I think that's why we got such a boom of them in the 80s. They cost, you could make a slasher for nothing, like, and get
There's
a big return. That's what happened
practical
with
effects in that chat. That's why I love me some 80s. You know why you love the Prowler? Because it was practical. Because it was practical.
yeah, it was.
And it looks, it's all dreamy looking, and he looks so good. That is the main film on my list of like, why did we get at least a sequel?
Yeah, and I love that. And y'all know I love to be shitting on men. I love the fact that the villain, literally got the girl broke up with him, and he turned into a killer. Like, like isn't that so?
I
mean?
have to see this movie. I haven't seen it.
You should watch it. It's so good. It's what is it from 81? The Prowler from 81, I think, or is it 79? I don't know. I think I'm mixing it up. But I agree. Like, I feel like it's a simple formula. Baby, we just want some blood and guts. We want some good kills. We want them to be gruesome. We want a great villain. And I feel like even when I speak about like the lore of the villain, I agree. I think they have killed Terrifier for me personally. That first one was my favorite. I don't think you necessarily need like a Billy Loomis, your mom was screwing my dad, like whole like story. But even with Black Christmas, which I freaking love, or even with something like Terrifier, like if it's just a demonic clown, but I just think you need some type of like interesting lore. Even that fool Jason, like, you know, the campers weren't paying attention and he drowned. Like, you don't have to go into like a full, because I agree with Tyra. I think some mystery absolutely aids in something feeling more scary, like when there's no like that. You know, I'm always reference Scream. Motives are incidental. It's the 90s. Like, you don't necessarily need like a motive, but I just think just a great villain, just a great lore. I think that really, really works. If you want like a franchise type of killer, for me, someone that's going to keep coming back, needs to be interesting, not babyface. Okay. And it's something about that villain in the Prowler. I love the get up. I love the military. I just, it works. So, because think of it, like if you're in real life and that killer pops up on you're gonna be scared. Like, you can't even see their face. Like, I love it.
No.
Celise,
And then
what
I
do you
think
think?
there's a way to do like a highbrow slasher, even though it's not my favorite film, but like the premise of High Tension, do that and be gory and killing and all that stuff. Like, you can do like a lot with a slasher.
Was it
You
the
can.
little twist that killed it for you with high tension? Because I heard everybody talk about that.
I just knew it wasn't her. And if I know something ahead of time, I feel like I'm wasting my time throughout the film. But I was
See, I disagree. I think something can be predictable, but if it's even if I know where you're going, if it's enjoyable along the way, I love High Tension.
I want to be
Another early 2000s.
I want to be surprised.
I'm always going for that era. That's the golden era. Y'all always want to say the 80s was the golden era. The early 2000s.
We're asking Celise a question.
Tyra gonna always be a hater. You brought up the movie.
Was by happenstance. I won't ever mention it again.
Celise. What formula for you makes a great slasher, and what's the movie that you hold up next to the word slasher in the dictionary that is the absolute prototype for you?
I feel like I have two. I think I have to say this one first because it came before it, but I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a great formula for a great slasher. I mean, like, we have iconic shots, we have characters that we care about, we have like that insane, very intense ending with her getting in the back of the pickup truck, like bloody, screaming, and like completely out of it. And that was really terrifying at the time for people, and I think it still is. Just like the fact that we really don't know too much about this crazy family, and she's in the middle of nowhere, love it. I think it's a perfect movie. And then I have to give credit to Scream because that's really where I feel like we got really dynamic characters, and every character was memorable and has iconic lines. Ghostface is iconic. It's cool that Ghostface is a different person in each movie. It's not always good because we had Jill as Ghostface and that wasn't great. But I don't know. I think like that's what we need. We need iconic, dynamic characters. We need good kills. It goes back to what Tyra was saying about the gore. And no, we don't always need to know every little thing about the slasher. Sometimes the unknown is what is scary.
Shout out to the 50 people in here with us. Please make sure you support all the panelists. They are, if you're watching on A Night of Horror on my channel, they are linked in the description box. Please make sure. We are also streaming on Struggle Reviews TV. Please make sure you like the video, share the video. And when we talk about the decline of slashers, I was so hyped to ask y'all this question because I'm like, baby, we ain't got nothing. It's a drought. It's drought. Now, Tyra mentioned earlier the movie that I was going to name as my favorite of the last 10 years, but I want to say some of the bad ones because I be trying. As much as I say I hate teenagers, I be trying to give the movies a chance. Was I the only person on planet Earth that watched There's Someone Inside Your House? Was I the only person that watched Killer Book Club?
What is that? Are you making shit up? What are you talking about?
Killer Book Club?
No, these are the ones I want to say some of the bad ones first.
Oh, well, I'm not watching that if I knew it was bad. I'm not watching it.
No. These are the bad ones because that's why I was excited to ask y'all because I'm like, maybe it's something because y'all know I be digging
that's why you were
for horror movies. Like I be digging in the dirt for some horror movies. But these are
watch Torso from the 70s. You need to watch Torso and watch
Torso is iconic.
Watch Stage Fright if you haven't seen that one either.
I haven't seen either of those.
That one's from the 80s, just because they came to mind because you mentioned something like that.
Because I mentioned bad horror movies, they came to mind.
But these are good ones.
No, we going back, Tyra. 7 and 3.
And Stage Fright is from the 80s.
This is your subgenre, Celise. Torso. It says Galileo.
It's a Giallo, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
This what happened when you're a Floridian. When you Southern Black, you just pronounce it how we gonna pronounce it.
I love Torso.
What was the other one you said, Tyra? Torso and
Stage Fright.
Stage Fright. I've never heard. Now I've heard of Torso. I've never even heard of Stage Fright. 1950.
No.
From the 80s. It's like I think either.
There's a couple movies with that title. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm like, wait a minute, baby, we're going too far. I see a Stage Fright 1980, a Stage Fright 1989.
I thought it was
Stage Fright 1997. That's a lot.
It's 87.
Yeah, one of those. It wasn't that far. It's more 87, definitely.
Okay. But the teen slasher of the last 10 years that I would say was actually good. Now, I'm not a fan of like comedy horror, so I prefer just like a dark, but I actually was very pleasantly surprised by Freaky. Tyra name dropped it earlier. I feel like Vince Vaughn played a teenage girl better than teenage girls play teenage girls. Like, I even love the whole, like, I know they did the whole play on like Back to the Future with that other movie, but I like the play on like the Freaky Friday, but in a slasher way where the villain and the final girl switches bodies. I actually feel like that is a great idea, like to have the villain and the final girl switch bodies. I had so much fun with that movie. The kills were actually good. They were pretty brutal. We got some good gore mixed up in there. I will say the actual like killer was a little lackluster to me personally, but I was very, very pleasantly surprised. And that's one of those movies I went into really expecting to hate it because, again, I don't really care for comedy. And even I thought I don't know if they did this intentionally, but it felt like a play on the typical like you know, the stereotypical like black best friend trope, or the, you know, the gay I like that both are best friends with like a black person and a gay person, and then when the killer is going after them, they're like, you're black, I'm gay, we're gonna die, we're not gonna make it. I was so pleased. I like that movie, and I actually like the final girl. I thought everything with that really worked, and I would actually love a sequel. Like that knife could just go, that little powerful knife could end up in someone else's hands. But of all the because y'all know I be scouring, I would say that's at the top for me in the last 10 years. I was very pleasantly surprised by Freaky. I had a lot of fun with that movie. Tyro, what would you say are your, and that's only one. Like I wanted y'all to give me a list. I got one movie. Tyro, what are some of your favorite teen slashers of the last 10 years?
I mean, because you know when you put teen on it, then you're left with nothing.
Right, because it gotta be teen. It gotta be teen.
I mean, I didn't really like Happy Death Day like that. It was cool, but I wasn't.
I hated Tree. I don't like an unlikable.
She's very unlikable. Yeah.
And I don't think women need to be pleasant per se, but if you're gonna be bitchy, like at least be kind of fly with it. Like,
did Sick have teens in it? Were those teens?
Yes, that was college teens.
All right, that's one. There's nothing like. Of course, there's Terrifier. That's a given. But like I said,
that would count. Those were like college teeny boppers.
Were they?
In the first Terrifier, weren't they at like a college party? This was after a college party on Halloween.
The Hunt were teeny boppers.
Ooh, I love The Hunt.
I like the Final Girls a lot. Like even though there's no gore, I love the Final Girls, and I think they were actually supposed to be high school age. Like I said, Netflix and The Babysitter, 1 and 2. Like that was, I liked that. And even though you don't want to watch it, Fear Street, it was very, very, very reminiscent of those spaces of horror I love. But that's about it. It wasn't a lot. I'm sorry.
Do I need to give Fear Street a shot?
Please do. I think you like it.
I think you should.
Cause I just like Teenage Child.
It's some really good kills in Fear Street.
Celeste, do you have any favorite teen slashers of the last 10 years?
Yeah, it's really hard because I wish I could say You're Next, but they're not teens there. So like that does not count. And there's another movie that I really liked, but they're also not teens. They're kind of adults at this point. But I liked this movie from 2022 called Sissy. It's about an influencer. And I thought that was really good. It's I call it like a girly pop movie. Everything's glittery and had some cool stuff. I'm going to have to say Fear Street, definitely, if we're talking specifically about teens, and Terrifier 2, even though I know Lauren Rivera is like my age, but you know, she was in high school, right? Or like in her last year of high school.
Yeah, if the character is a teen, it's okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Terrifier 2. I really like Freaky. I'm going to add Freaky on there. Yeah, can't say X either. They're adults. It's tough.
Yeah. And I would change my answer to add Hunt. I would say Hunt and Freaky are my two favorites of the last.
I got to give Hunt another chance.
I loved Hunt.
You cut off Hunt? Hunt is really good.
Yeah.
Is The Hunt or Hunt?
It's just Hunt.
It's just Hunt. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I didn't see that.
Aquarius the Savage, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat on Struggle Reviews TV. I would say Ma, the movie for me in the last 10 years. Shout out to Octavia Spencer Butler.
I'm forgetting about Ma.
Justice for her. But that movie was we had a good horror villain in a bad horror movie. Kill all them teams in Ma. Kill all.
She was so iconic too.
Yes, like she deserved so much better.
It could have been so much better. Like, what happened? That really is an issue in the writers' room. For real.
Yeah, it really like the writing just and it pisses me off. We don't get black horror villains at all, and that is a phenomenal actress. Like Octavia, she's amazing. They did her wrong. They did her wrong.
And
But
she loves horror. Like, what the
yeah,
fuck? They should have had her helping to write this shit.
but that is a teen slasher of the last 10 years that I do tend to forget about. But Tyra already told us her answer to this. She said a slasher has to be rated R in order for it to be effective. And I will say I used to be one of those people who felt like if it's PG-13 horror, I don't even want nothing to do with it. I love PG-13 horror, but I will say if we're talking slasher,
Yeah.
slasher, where again, when we talked about the formula, it got to be the kills, baby. Like it has to. We need the gore to be there. We need it to be brutal. We need it to be group. If the 13-year-olds can watch it, it ain't right. It ain't right. So do you feel like a slasher needs to be rated R in order to be effective?
I think it does, because the slasher is all about the creative kills. Like, would I ever watch a Giallo that's PG-13? No. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there because just well-rounded talking about the slashers. And something that I thought was interesting, we're going to get into why do we think studios cater to the teen audience and do they need to? Because I was reading about how they want to do a Terminator remake, not a sequel. They want to remake the original Terminator. And something stood out for me that the filmmaker referenced. He said he wants to target the teen audience. No. He said newer audience, but to me that just means teen, younger people who weren't around for the original. I will tell you, I agree. Even though I be saying I hate teens, and I want to see the 40s and the 30-year-olds centered in horror. I don't like. Now I like teen slasher. I like it being teens. I hate when a movie studio tries to specifically cater to a teen audience. I don't think they need to. I don't think it makes any sense. And I will also say the movies that I watched as a 7-year-old, like the movies I watched as a teen, you didn't have to cater to my age group. I think you should cater to a horror audience in general. I don't think you need to cater to a teen audience because I think that's why we get movies like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies with all the convoluted AI teen dialogue because you're trying to. And another thing I hate is I tried to watch that new movie, It's What's Inside. I cut it off after 5 minutes because I hate the way they are starting this thing where they put social media like on the screen, like you see the person. I hate that. It irks my soul. And I think that is a part of pandering to a younger generation. I don't want to see nobody Instagram streaming on my dang with all the little, and then they show the comments popping up on the screen of the lot. I hate that. I hate that so much. I would really love for us to have a resurgence of the teen slasher, but I personally don't agree that studios need to cater to the teen audience. But you could say even the classic slashers that we love cater to a teen audience. I mean, I think that's why those movies center teens. But Tyra, do you think studios need to cater to a teen audience in order for us to have a teen slasher resurgence?
No, like I can't remember the last time I went to the movies and it was like, whoo, look at all these teens in here.
That's so true. Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of teens consider going to the movies like a pastime. And I just don't, maybe I'm missing it. There are all those certain things. I think the demographics are, of course, the small children because even, we're going to pop out for Moana too. Mommy, we going. There's that audience. And then they try to have the more so sophisticated drama, your Oppenheimer situations. And it's like, oh, they're going to go see that. But if it's going to be this, it has to be, I think there's an understatement of who's the real target audience for horror, and especially what's successful. Because there's anything that A24 touches is not supposed to be digestible or targeted towards a teen, but they perform. Like, I don't know why we would do that. And if you're trying to cater to them, that means we get grim cutties. And I don't never want to see that again. I don't ever want to see that again. I don't care too much for a body situation. Or when they trying to get like into I think was it called Bones and All? Like they try to do,
I actually like that movie.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it's like those are the things. There were teens there, but we're not, catering it towards a teen audience. I don't know why we would have to go for that. And I really, any teen I know, like even my teen is like, well, we got Final Girls at home. Like I can pull it up on my phone right now. I can pull it up. Like the piracy is so high. I think it is. And
that's her.
You can do it because I'm the captain of the ship my damn self. I'm going to pirate all day. But what? Who's going to check? But the stop for the people who are like very reminiscent of the cinematic experience. It's just like, oh, I'll pirate whatever. But I don't know. Let's just say, what was that this drop with Ariana Grande? What is that? Wicked. Yes. And it's just like, oh, we know, like, oh, this needs to be experienced at the movies. I want that moment. I want that uproar of being in the crowd or whatever, us all going in awe or something at the same time. That experience of when he pulled up was like, I'm TS mother in A, and he hopped out the car and it wasn't the actual police, and everybody's just like, oh my god. And it was just, you want those things because what you need to be there. Like, oh, this is going to be, they're doing Deadpool and Wolverine. We're going to the movies. Like, there was a reason that they catered that towards millennials. Like, I don't see a lot of these teenies and kids like, oh, we're going to the movies unless it's something super duper salacious, like the most recent Terrifier 3. Why are we doing that? Y'all gonna put a bunch of them in the theaters? Yeah, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of it from the viewpoint of who is the demographic that goes to the movies, but that is really interesting because I was more so thinking of it as someone like me who's been like a movie buff and a huge horror fan my whole life. I mean, I tell y'all all the time, my mother showed me The Evil Dead when I was 3 years old, and I was a literal 3-4-year-old toddler engaging and watching horror movies. I wasn't into cartoons. I've never seen Pocahontas to this day. Like I was just a huge movie buff. And I feel like if people, I don't think you have to cater to an age, because I think I 49 was my favorite childhood movie, and that's a movie where Kiefer Sutherland is a rapist. Like that movie was absolutely not supposed to be for a 9-year-old. I don't believe in because I feel for me, when you say I'm catering to this audience, to me that you're kind of pandering to the audience. You're going to really overdo it in the movie. Even the movies that are with all the 80s nostalgia, they just freaking vomit 80s, 88. And that's what Top Cut was. The music, they just wanted to regurgitate everything of the early millennium. Let's just throw it in.
They think it's relatable and it's not.
Right. I was singing the songs on Time Cut. I was.
Oh no! I had every Hilary Duff album when I was
singing songs, even down. I think the ending was some Michelle Branch. I was like, yes,
Michelle Branch.
That was Avril Lavigne. I was like, yeah. Why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? Yes, come on, early 2000s.
But you couldn't tell me I wasn't an alternative lead singer of some band when I was like 14.
No, but actually. Go to hell. Then they put that scrawny boy in that suit. It's like he was the killer the whole time. I was like, y'all.
And I called it. Now that I will say, I just went up for High Tension and how even if it's, but if the ride ain't fun, I called it in 5 minutes that guy was the killer. Literally.
Yeah, we already
Celeste, do you feel like studios need to cater to a teen audience?
I don't. I remember when I was a teen, I was not looking for horror movies that were like for my age. I was like, I want to see the craziest thing ever. I want to be terrified. Yeah, and I feel like most teenagers that like horror or are getting into it want that experience. So why would we want something that is like pandering to us?
Yeah.
And I just feel like that makes no sense. And also then they do shit like tarot. Oh. What is that? What is that?
Catering to a teen audience.
Exactly. But then it's like for literally nobody else. And even the teens, girl, they don't like that shit either. Nobody liked tarot. And also nobody liked Night Swim either. What was that?
That was for the baseball fans. Now we are going to get into our second segment of horror versus, and batting at the top, teen slasher versus teen slasher. Celeste, who's coming out on top? House of Wax versus Thanksgiving.
Oh my god, it's House of Wax. House of Wax is iconic. I'm sorry. Like, sorry, Thanksgiving. It's not it.
Let's not apologize to Thanksgiving. Definitely
House of Wax. I really love the elements of the wax and just the creativity of it, those practical effects, and him running around with that damn hot spoon. Like, not my face. My face.
Oh yes,
that whole thing. And I love the premise of, we going into a shady small town, and like those effects, which is like help in the windows. It's just like an animatronic. It's just like in the houses. I those things that I can remember. And I do remember, the certain scenes, like when I love like a subversion when it was Thanksgiving. It was the killer, but they were like in a clown suit. Like I like a little random stuff like that, but it's not as iconic as that House of Wax. No.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre versus Tourist Trap. Elise, which teen slasher is coming out on top?
See, girl, this is easy for me because I haven't seen Tourist Trap, so I'm going with Texas
Chainsaw
Massacre.
Add that to your watch list. Please add that to your watch list.
I will.
Spoiler alert, that is my underrated teen slasher that we're going to get into later.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, Tourist Trap is freaking amazing. Tyra, which one is coming out on top for you?
Yeah, it was my underrated too.
Oh God. See, we too.
Hey, don't be trying to come to the 80s when you feel like it, all right? Don't be coming over here when it's cool to be over here. Like, I really like Tourist Trap, but like, I just love when Leatherface opens them doors and cracks that man in the head. Like, it's just iconic stuff. It's so grimy and grindhouse and dirty. Like, I just appreciate that. It looked filthy.
It does.
I'm gonna go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Celeste, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2005 remake or Scream?
This is not even a question. It's Scream. Sorry.
And as much as I can't do anything but talk about Scream all day and night, it is literally seeping out of my pores. I don't think this versus it. I love Scream, but I love that 2005 Texas Chainsaw.
It's good.
Y'all look, the 2000s, that's the golden era of horror. Tyra, which movie is coming out? Which movie is coming out on top? TCM or Scream?
Even though TCM is that was the peak where you're saying like it's the best. It was just remakes, okay? That's all that era really
was. That was good. The Hills Have Eyes.
They were good. I was gonna tell you that. I was gonna give you that. They were good, but they were all remakes. Like Scream is, original. And I do appreciate that Leatherface, but I'm gonna go with Scream.
And I don't know why y'all like to act real bougie with remakes, okay? It ain't nothing wrong with a remake, okay? The Thing was a remake. The Fly was a remake. Let's not act like we ain't always...
we stop there, but when you get into prequel remakes of The Thing, throw it in the garbage. When you get into The Fly 2, throw it in the garbage. But those are things that should have been remade. People talk about The Thing being remade, like, that following year, like that black and white, that ain't... We don't know what that. Nobody know what that is unless you go back and watch it for historic purposes. The Thing is just The Thing. Like The Fly is completely different from the Fly remake and the visuals, and it was an actual damn fly. Like it is totally different. Like those things stand alone. Like there was some things just should not be touched. I am a purist, and I am not apologizing for it.
You a fake purist because them movies was remakes.
I'm a purist, and I'm not.
Freddy versus Jason versus House of Wax. Celeste.
Oh. Oh no, my heart. Damn, I have such a fun time with Freddy vs. Jason. I'm gonna go with Freddy versus Jason. Sorry.
Why is it hurting you to say that?
Because I feel like I'm being judged. I don't know. I'm not sure what's gonna like get me kicked off the panel or not.
Oh, Nikki likes Winnie the Pooh and Honey. It's
Oh my god, I forgot. I'm glad you brought that up. Now I feel a little bit better.
Getting kicked off this panel.
And I don't think it's a good movie, and I wouldn't pick it in a versus. Okay.
I hope you didn't put that in here today. Because that's gonna be crazy.
She's never put that on anything as long as I've been here.
Good,
no, because it's a terrible movie. It's just like I love the Bye Bye Man, but I know they're not good.
Oh, girl, please, Nikki, move on.
But let's not act like I don't have superior taste. Okay, don't play me. But I like bad horror movies. I say that all the time. They're fun. Tyra, which movie is coming out on top for you?
Please, Freddy versus Jason, like that standoff when he snatched his ass out of the dream sequence and he pops out like, oh, like, am I really here? And they fight to the death. That's iconic. We have that really great. It has a really great soundtrack. First of all, Freddy versus Jason has really great sound design, really great soundtrack. It's not the best. Freddy, you're not even scary. We're gonna leave that where it is. We're here.
Oh God,
we're here for the showdown. We're here for the showdowns and them killing each other. Like I love that. And the tits, the lead. I don't know what she was doing, the final girl, but she had really great tits. Really great tits.
Now that's a mediocre final girl. Yeah. That she was absolutely mediocre.
Useless.
I don't get the Freddy versus Jason hype. I hated Kelly Rowland being a sacrificial Negro in that movie. Like I couldn't do it. I hate that movie. But House of Wax is just the better crafted movie. Like y'all are crazy.
Well, yeah, the showdown is gonna trump every time. I'm sorry. It's the showdown.
Tyra, A Nightmare on Elm Street versus Halloween.
It's always gonna be A Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, even though I am not a Michael Pierce or a Jamie Lee Curtis. I only watched besides Season of the Witch because that stands alone. Okay, it does. But I've always just been here for Dr. Loomis. He's always been my fave. Like it's A Nightmare on Elm Street, child. Please.
Dr. Loomis was the final girl. You might as well say.
He's coming. He's evil. He's just evil in his eyes. Oh my God, he's coming. Run. Kill him. Get him. It was stressing Dr. Loomis out.
Celeste, which movie teen slasher is coming out on top for you?
It's gonna be Halloween for me. I grew up with Halloween. I saw Halloween before Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm a Michael girly, so it's gotta be Halloween.
I swear I be feeling like y'all be lying. Do y'all really be watching this movie? Because that movie is so boring. I swear, when people say, "Oh,
that was such a real answer," that was so honest.
I think there's just so much. It's a build up to him actually attacking Lori. So there's.
I agree.
In front of the bush, not in front of the bush.
Yeah.
And it was so fake when he goes to stab and he just sliced her arm and he was behind her on the stove. He should have stabbed her in the head.
Looking out the window, I'm standing in the clothesline and now I'm gone. Like it's a whole lot of that. You know,
I just swear when people say I watch Halloween every year, I'm like, baby, you lying. The modern teen slashers, Happy Death Day versus Freaky. Tyra, which one is coming out on top?
Though that cake looks delicious, I'm gonna go with Freaky.
And I'm actually not the biggest fan of Happy Death Day. Like it was fine, but you can Celeste, which modern teen slasher is coming out on top for you?
I'm actually gonna go with Happy Death Day.
I thought you slandered it.
No, because I do love, oh man, I forgot her name, but I love the main girl in the sorority. Like I just love all of her lines. No, not Tree, the other girl that like I guess is like,
oh, the mean girl?
Yeah, I love her. So I gotta give it to Happy Death Day.
Vince Vaughn is over here acting like a teenager.
Vince
Vaughn. No, it's so iconic. It is, yeah.
And you know what? It's not a slasher, but it might not be early 2000s. I think it's either early 2000s or late 90s. A gem that I never heard anybody talk about. There was like a horror adjacent, like horror thriller movie that Vince Vaughn played in with John Travolta, where he was like John Travolta's son's stepdad, but he was like a killer. Go watch it.
Domestic disturbance, domestic something.
Yeah,
Domestic disturbance or something like that. I remember it was generic.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I don't know that one.
Domestic, I think it's domestic disturbance or something like that. It
wasn't no nudity, so Tyra gonna slander the movie.
Yeah, get John out.
The Faculty versus Final Destination, Tyra.
Oh, why you couldn't be first? This is hard. I really, really love the first Final Destination, and I love the lead in Final Destination. Like, he's good in, anything, Loved him since Idle Hands. It's fun. I really like the Faculty, though. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna go with the Final Destination because, like, when we get back into the movies, I remember going to see Final Destination, and it was just like, chow. And me as a Tony Todd enthusiast, when he was in, I was like, oh my goodness, it's Tony Todd. I was so excited to see Tony Todd, and I thought, like, at the time before we got all those freaking sequels, the premise was really refreshing. I was like, oh, like, it's the death, like what, and him trying to, like, all the booby trap of it all, like those things were like, oh my goodness, like the 100 ways to die. It's crazy the things that we were coming up with, and of course they get more and more elaborate. I gotta go with this.
Say it with your chest, Tyra.
It hurt my feelings. No, because I also don't like a lot about, like, I hate when those cops, like the cops on the case, like, anytime we get with them, I hate it so much. But I just really like. I'm gonna go with this. Yeah.
And speaking of Idle Hands, I would say that's another, like, play on, like, teen slasher-esque because it's supernatural, but you got a group of teens getting killed.
Did they really die though? That's the question.
Shout out to Seth Green. I love Seth Green. Celise, which teen slasher and teen slasher adjacent, because that would be Final Destination, is coming out on top for you?
This is a great versus because it's so hard because they're both so iconic for different reasons. I love both, but I'm gonna say The Faculty because I definitely watched that a lot more than Final Destination.
Yeah, and I realized recently Final Destination is a franchise that I really don't. I need to. I don't ever watch those movies. Hardly.
Yeah.
See the deaths. There's not really a whole bunch of anticipation of seeing it again. And once again, there's teenagers that you don't like.
When I tell you, the guy who was playing the stereotypical, like, jock, and see, that's the thing. They're always going to have.
Yeah. And he smashes his head. That one. It's so many stereotypical jocks in there.
I'm talking, that one. But I'm talking about the one in the very first one. They always have the same archetype. You have the pretty girl that's dating the jerk guy, and, like, you literally have the same setup.
You guys can fight for the rest of your fucking life, or you can just drop dead. Bust. Iconic stuff.
Which teen slasher is coming out on top for you, Tyra? Urban Legend versus Cherry Falls.
All right, now we're getting into the lack of an R rating. I love Cherry Falls, but Cherry Falls should have never been a made-for-TV type of film, and they cut out, I think it was on USA, and they cut out all of the graphics and the blood and the gore that was supposed to be there with the kills, so you don't really see much, but it's so fun. It's so fun. And Britney's there. Everybody loves Britney. Britney's there. And I like the flip on the trope of, like, no, we're killing everybody who is a virgin, so everybody's trying to get it in. I love that. That's fun. Everybody, it was just the whole orgy. Urban Legend. I like the Urban Legend. Is that Josh down there is that Pacey? It's so many people here.
Yeah.
She's got to rewatch it.
There's so many people in this movie. I'm like, how did it just become so forgetful?
Go rewatch it. It's not, only person forgot it was you. Go rewatch it.
Oh, maybe so. If it wasn't about the back seat, I forgot it. I don't know. I just think that Cherry Falls is so underrated. I'm gonna go with Cherry Falls.
Is Bane back there crying?
He is. Let me open the door.
What's wrong with poor Baney?
Girl.
Tell him we about to get out of here soon. I'm sorry, Baney.
It's fine, child. I'm not going out for no walk. It's cold out there. Let it go, son.
But yes, I don't know why the studio wanted to come in and rip apart Cherry Falls. Such a great idea. Like, I agree with Tyra. The whole flip of we're not going to kill the virginal. Like, I mean, they're not the one that's going to last. We're going to kill everybody who is the virgin. So all the teens trying to go hunt somebody so they don't die. Like, Cherry Falls is amazing. Celeste, which movie is coming out on top for you?
I'm gonna say Urban Legend, and that's mostly because I've only seen Cherry Falls once, and I don't remember anything about it.
Was I the only person that saw See No Evil? Does anybody remember when the WWE was making like these little horror movies? They had the horror movie where all the inmates was dropped on the island and had to fight to the death. Did anybody see that but me?
Yeah. First of all, I saw See No Evil 1 and 2.
Oh,
now one is good.
Which one was the one that he swallows the phone?
That's one. That's one where he shoves
I always thought that was so funny.
Yeah, the second one is when they're in the morgue. Now that one is crap, but See No Evil, the first one is good. Tyra, but I put it is generic and mediocre. So I put it next to another generic mediocre. I put it next to the movie that killed this subgenre. Tyra, which one coming out on top? Friday the 13th, 2009 or See No Evil?
I'm never putting Friday the 13th, 2009 on anything. I'm just See No Evil. I do like when we do have really good practical effects, because he looked, WWE or not, he served his role as the brute. Like when they hit him in the head and like flies and maggots.
Yes.
Like, I there are things to appreciate, even the decrepitness of this. What was that, like a hotel and how it looked? I'm here for it. I'm gonna go with See No Evil.
And that one had terrible teens, but I enjoyed that movie. Celeste, which movie is coming out on top for you?
This is like really rough. This is rough. I'm supposed to pick one of these. That's crazy. I don't even really remember See No Evil. And I don't like this Friday the 13th. I don't even know if I want to give it to the Friday the 13th. I can't get with it. I'm gonna go with See No Evil. If that's the one where he swallowed the phone, at least I remembered that.
You're on the right side of history. So. That was our horror versus, and we getting into teen slashers. The way, of course, they started, we always had these moralistic undertones. Of course, we always talk about like the virgin and the teens who have sex and party, you die. Like there always had to be some type of, that Western morality to it. So at this point in trying to do a teen slasher, Celeste, do you feel like filmmakers need to just completely rewrite the rules of the teen slasher? Do we still need to try to add that morality clause to the teen slasher? Even though, of course, we've gotten away pretty much in horror from the whole like trope of the final girl having to be a virgin. But do you feel like we need to just rewrite the teen slasher rules at this point, or do you think we need like that moralistic tone to the teen slasher?
See, I don't think we need to like rewrite the rules, but like at the same time, like if we look at like Terrifier, we don't even know if Sienna is like a virgin, right? Like we don't really know like these characters like that. I don't think we need to know that. But also, if we are going to go with the classic like stereotypes, at the end of the day, we just need somebody that's a good writer and wants to make something creative and cares. Like, I'm sorry, but you need to care about the slasher subgenre as a whole to make a good one.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting you say that about Sienna, because it tends to be a point in horror that they have to be talking about the girl being a virgin, usually getting picked on by her little teen friends. But I do like the fact that you do, even though you don't, hear about a certain character being a virgin, you do have like that archetype of the virgin. No character, final girl, where she may not be a virgin per se, but she's the more sweet, virginal character. She's not the raw, sex kitten character. But Tyra, do you think we need to rewrite the teen slasher rules, or do you think we need to just stick to the basics and it can still work?
Hey, I love the basics. Okay, I do. I do, and it's not just for teen or anything, but that's just the moral standing of society. Those tropes on like it's the same trope of where if you were assaulted, like, well, what were you wearing? There's always this like this moral complex of who deserves to die and who doesn't. Well, she was worldly. She was out there, spreading it wide and laying it low. Who's gonna really miss her? Why should we kill this innocent virginal straight A student? That's always just going to be a society standard. But I do think that we can do away with. In recent time, I really love the bait and switch when it's like, I thought this was our final girl. Like, but she always makes it to the end, or he always makes it, and we're kind of left with somebody else standing. And it's like, oh, like, all right, I'm with it. Like, this isn't, because if it doesn't switch, then it becomes predictable because we know she making it.
Yeah,
she's saving it from there. She gonna make it to the end. We know that. So when they can subvert it and do something different, and it's not like cliche and it's well done, like plot wise, I'm like, oh, okay, I love this. Like I love just like the actual The Hunt, HUNT, where I think you have Emma Roberts and she's running around with her little blonde ponytail in the beginning. She's like, oh my God, let me help you. Oh my God, let me get this key. We're gonna get through this together. She's shot in the head, and it's just like, and it's the same with kind of like playing with even Scream and Drew Barrymore, like Psycho. Like you thought that these were your main characters and they weren't, or your leads. I'm here for that. I'm here for more of that.
Yeah, and I feel like the subverting expectations with the final girl, it gets boring. Like that's another gripe I had with Romulus. Is I'm like, it's starkly obvious who the final girl is in Romulus, and I'm like, I wish they would have like suddenly in the third act like killed her off and made someone else like the last one standing and the one we follow. Like I love stuff like the Hills Have Eyes remake, where the character that's seemingly the tough and strong one gets killed off, and then the one that's the more meek and weak seeming one is the one that ends up fighting. Like I wish we would kind of make it more of like a surprise or something with who the last man standing is going to be.
And if the fact that it was a man, you talking about those men there, like you had the mother, the pregnant woman, the sister. Like they're not going to kill the pregnant. She's nursing. They're not going to kill the pregnant woman. It's like shot in the stomach. Like shoot the freshly newborn mother. Shoot her ass. Like I'm here for it. I like it.
Tyra, you're a sociopath. You just be wanting all kinds.
Because like no, that should be the ground rule for whatever. Nobody's safe. It gives you like you sit up when you think like that's why I believe in kill them women, kill them kids. Most of all, kill them kids. If you kill a kid, we're cooking with grease. Not a kill kid cutaway either. Kill them on screen. I want splatter.
No, can we cut away, please? Like they can die, but please cut away. That's why I don't know why people say horror fans be desensitized. I don't want to see no kids like kill them. I went Tyra, kill them, but I'm not like it hurt my soul. I don't even like to see kids suffer. Like the It movie, even if though that group of friends don't, that like seeing them suffering, that bothers me. I don't want to see them suffer. Celeste, do you think that the teen slasher subgenre can make a comeback in modern day?
I think so, especially with I know we keep talking about it, or I keep talking about
Scream.
The success of Terrifier. I think it shows that it can make a comeback, and it also shows that people want like original slashers now. We're done. We're tired. We don't want requels. We don't want we're tired of that. Like, why do you think so many people were sat for Terrifier 3, and why Terrifier 2 was like it's supposed to be in theaters for like one weekend, and then it constantly kept getting picked up for more weekends because we want it to come back. That's what we want. So I think so.
Yeah. I just wish we would have stuck to the formula of the first Terrifier. Like
Yeah, I'm sorry.
they done lost me. They done lost me. Tyra, do you think teen slashers can make a comeback in the modern day?
I would like for them to, but they don't commit to nothing. They're not gonna do it. They have no interest in, like, you see what it took to just get Terrifier. The Terrifier was created, funded, wrote all by the like shoestring budget. Like he had to personally bring that into fruition for it to even get to the masses to be released in theaters and get an up-teen whatever budget. Like they have no interest there. So I really don't see it making a comeback at all. We're gonna get more bodies and it's
Oh god.
what is it? What's inside? That's on that. We're gonna get more of those.
Oh, I couldn't. I didn't, and everybody has been raving about It's West Side. I couldn't even. I'm gonna try and watch it, but I just hate the social media angle. Oh, that irks my.
You're
soul.
gonna get that. You're gonna get some more, which is not bad. Like It Follows. Like
I hated that movie.
I just hated the boy. It was like, so you're gonna give me some? I know.
Right, like, baby, you're going to die, you stupid dumb.
I'll stick with you. I'll have you. Like, sir, please.
But I want another what is his name? Damien Leone. Like, who is the filmmaker that's going to just fund their little grungy slasher? Because we need it. We need it. But of course we can't wrap this up without talking about some of our most iconic teen slashers, which we pretty much have already kind of gone through the icons, and I feel like we probably go out. Me and Celeste, we gonna say Scream.
We're gonna say Scream. Yeah, I mean, it's Scream for me.
Yeah, I would say the most iconic teen slashers for me would be Scream. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, Urban Legend, Black Christmas 79.
Take them all.
Yeah, we gonna say, because we gonna say the same ones. Tyra, what's some of your most iconic teen slashers?
I mean,
Tyra's gonna say Pieces because she want nudity.
Pieces is a good film. Okay, don't sleep on Pieces. Don't sleep on Pieces. Don't sleep on. It's most of the things I like Love. There probably weren't any teens there, but I do love Prowlers. I do love like stuff like Maniac. There's no, teens there. It's just a slasher. Mm-hmm. I do like more of an adult, slasher. But
now you was just being ageist against the 40s and 30s, but now you like an adult slasher.
Let me cook. Yes, preferably, yeah, I do. If we're gonna go back there, like I'm saying, like for favorite. Because if it's just, I'm gonna stick to the OGs, the Nightmares and the Jasons and the Freddys and the Chuckies and the like, it's the the things that we're more so familiar with. But when it comes to like the hidden gems, they rarely involve teens.
Celeste, is Scream your most iconic teen slasher?
Yeah, but I really love Black Christmas. I watch that every year. It's one of my favorite movies. So I'm gonna have to say Black Christmas. Yeah. Oh okay. Yeah.
Of course.
Favorite. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. So
I have to specify with people.
You don't have to do that, Nikki.
We're not talking about 2006. I don't know.
And it's two, right? Like a 2006 and like a 2012 one.
Yeah, most people don't even remember
acknowledge
that one. Yeah. No, wait, wasn't it 2019 or something?
Well, something. I just know.
I think it was 2019.
What is the one where it's all neon colored out? Which one is that? Where it's like really?
I think that's that
2006, right?
No, that's not the. I thought that was the 29. I don't know. I haven't seen these, and I watch the 79 version almost every year, but I haven't seen the other ones in ages.
You don't need to.
Yeah, but underrated, like Alice, Sweet Alice type situations.
Oh my God, I love that movie so much.
Yeah. But you have to dig for stuff. It's just dry out here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would say underrated to me. I would call Cherry Falls underrated because I think that really flew under the radar. I don't think people really ever talk about that movie. Again, I would say The Prowler, Tourist Trap, and I would say Haunt. I've seen more people kind of talk about Haunt in recent years, but I was very shocked that it really flew under the radar. Nobody really talked about Haunt, Haunt. when it came out, and I think that is absolutely a testament of we can do modern teen slashers. We had the college age teens. I love the villains, and I even love the whole play of like their mask was like their face, like they were like jazzing up, like, and it genuinely looked disturbing to me, like their faces. I thought that was actually really, really good. Yeah, I would say those are like the top, like underrated. Darfalina, are teenagers not considered children who die in movies? No, babe. Absolutely not. Kill them teens. I do think about what was that like voiceover in Texas Chainsaw, and it is in the more tragic that they were young. Like,
oh yeah.
but they're not children.
Just young.
And to wrap things off, to end the night, we are going to get into our final horror versus Tyra teen slasher villains. We have the clear cell girl from Urban Legend, and we have the deformed twin from House of Wax. Which villain is coming out on top?
To be known as the clear cell girl.
No, Zima girl, clear cell girl. She was one of them.
Oh, God, that's harsh, Nikki. But with that being said, I don't actually know her name. I'm sorry.
But shout out to her because she's great. The chick with the crazy eyes, love her.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm acting like this hard. It's just I'm trying to like stack up because I just, like I said, I don't really remember Urban Legend. But she had that coat on, right? She had like a coat and box jacket.
And I'm mad you don't remember because her ghost face reveal, like when it's revealed she's the killer, baby, it's iconic as hell. And it was really giving like ghost face. You know how once it's revealed your ghost face, they really turn it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
Well, I guess I'll go with her because I just need to go rewatch it. Apparently,
I really want you to go rewatch. Celise, which teen slasher villain is coming out? What is this damn pilgrim man? Is he just a pilgrim? What is he called? He's just John Carver. He's just a pilgrim. The killer from Thanksgiving versus the killers from Hunt. But I think you said you haven't seen Hunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have seen Hunt. The issue is before I thought you guys were saying Hunt. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen that. I have seen this. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the killers from Hunt. Hunt.
Again, now I'm on the right side of history.
They were devoted.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love David Maffei in that one with the demon.
Mm-hmm. I like the ghost when it was like, no, come on, like open the door. Yeah, get the keys. It's like, you still want me to take my mask off? No, I just want to go home.
No, you put baby face. Who the hell is that on the side? I don't even know who that is.
God,
that's you don't like. I feel like their masks are pretty similar. They're both kind of baby face killers. That's why I put them next to each other. But this is the killer from Happy Death Day, and then the killer from Killer Book Club.
That's why nobody knows what it is.
And this one is, which one is the most mediocre looking teen slasher villain, Tyra? So you don't have to see the movie for that. Just looking at them, who the worst?
They're both terrible. Ugh. Because I maybe watched Happy Death Day once. I'm like, that's really what it looks like, huh?
And it doesn't have a snaggle tooth?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
What is that? It's just, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go with that baby face because the worst you can do is just be tired engineering. The mask hoodie combo is tired as hell. At least this is a cool garb. At least it's cool garb, okay? Garb.
Trent King, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm tardy, y'all. Well, once we finish, because we about to head out, just roll it back, baby. Replay gang. Which teen slasher villain is the most iconic to you? Celise. We have the killer from The Prowler, and we have that boring killer. What's his name? Jason.
Oh no, because I haven't seen Prowler.
Well, who looks the scariest to you?
Right now, I'm still looking at Babyface.
Did you switch it, Nikki?
Yes,
Yeah.
it switched on my screen. Is it switched on yours?
It's still switch it back because we looking at baby face. Now it's there.
Okay.
Now it's there. Now.
Okay.
Okay. I like that we can't see this one's face, so I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah,
I don't like Jason, so I'm never going with him.
I have always felt like Jason and Michael Myers masks are very just dull and generic. Like they're not scary.
They're not, yeah.
Tyra, who is the most iconic teen
Freddy.
slasher?
Yeah. I'm like, do you even need to ask her that?
You can take Michael and his William Shatner mask and go.
And that is today's Killer Con, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here with us for our conversation on the decline of the teen slasher. Filmmakers, come on, get us a teen slasher, a good one. And don't use Chat GPT to write the dialogue for the teenagers. I don't know, find some
probably
teens
are
around
doing
you.
that shit already.
But thank you so much, Tyra. I truly appreciate you being here for KillerCon. Thank you so much, Celise, for being here for KillerCon. Thank you to the audience for being here. Again, please make sure you support the panelists. If you're watching on my channel, they are both linked in the description box. We are also streaming on Struggle Reviews TV. Please make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment on the replay. It helps the algorithm, share the videos, do all the things, super chat, all the support. And now I am going to give our panelists the floor so they can tell everyone where to find them and what they have coming up. Tyra, talk to the people.
Tomorrow we will be getting into maths, aka Married at First Sight, and Abbott Elementary. Be sure that you are there for that to be on deck. And Friday is going to be All the Queen's Men, and be sure that you're looking out for my uploads. We are doing Training Day, introducing Dorothy Dandridge, and Kids. Be on the lookout for all three of those, please. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you.
And Sweet and Spooky, please tell the people where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Hi. Oh my God, I'm full screen. You can find me at Sweet and Spooky. It's like sweet and low, not sweet and spooky. On the channel, I have a couple fun things coming out. Jala review is coming out soon of Short Night of Glass Dolls, and then I have a fun little list coming out later this week that is dedicated to cannibalism and women in horror. So look out for that. Come through, follow me, say hi.
Yeah, so Sweet and Spooky's about to talk about Raw.
Oh, I am. That's one of my favorite movies. I will be talking about Raw.
I love some cannibalism. But on a night of horror, the content we have coming up, please make sure you go check out and support, because I lost my voice doing 9 hours total.
Oh my God.
Because I have my live for almost 5 hours where I ranked over 100 horror monsters, creatures, and villains. And then I have my almost 4-hour live ranking over 80 horror franchises. And coming up, because I said that the most underrated horror franchises are Underworld, The Purge, and Resident Evil. So I have a tier list ranking all of the sequels, all of the movies in those franchises coming up. And also, you can now purchase movie reviews if there is a horror or horror adjacent movie you would like for me to cover and discuss. And we got our first purchase, which is the Pumpkinhead movie from 1988. Thank you so much for that. Let me go find who purchased that so I can shout you out. It is Veronica. Thank you so much. Pumpkinhead was like my favorite movie when I was a kid, so I'm so excited to revisit it and get you guys a review up on that. So please be on the lookout. Make sure the bell notification is on. Make sure y'all know I don't be on no kind of schedule. I just do. So check the channel. Make sure your notifications are on. And Tyra, you have a $5 super chat from Trent King. I have a teen slasher. How much you charge for a script coverage?
You mean script coverage? What's that?
I guess he wants you to read his script, child. I don't know. Trent King.
Oh, is that what that means?
That's what I would gather.
Trent, don't hold me to that. I'm not a professional. And then I'm not gonna lie, because if it's tired, I'm gonna tell you. You don't want me to read nothing. I think you should,
So real.
have somebody else do that. But I love you, Trent. Thank you.
For the money. But I don't know why you would ask her, because Tyra gonna tell you, child. It's incredible. And just stay loving the struggle. Okay, so we ain't even finna go there. But if our panelists will stay backstage for a bit, and everyone else, we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.
They're here already! You're next! You're next! You're next!
Now, Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
Sometimes that is better.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
They are not men, monsieur. They are dead bodies. Dead. Zombies.
I'm not even going to swat that fly. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see and they'll know. And they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
They're here